first off, you got to give credit to Todd May and Concord. They are a really good basketball team, and they've got one of the best players, if not the best player in the country, in Tommy Bolte. And I thought we did a really good job on him until about 4 minutes left in the second half. I think he was at 12 points, and then he just went off. And he has the ability to do that. Him and Rogers were our main focus going in because they're 50% of their offense. And I don't know, did Bolte come out of the game?
No, he played all 50.
50 minutes, that's incredible. That's really hard to do. And they are a really good basketball team that's going to win a lot of games. But, going back to us, we got to learn to finish games off better. We had them down a couple times, and I thought, the game was in our possession, and we turned the ball over. And, at the end of the game, we just let Bolte drive right on in there for a layup to send it to overtime. And, I think we aren't very good right now at the end of games, but I think we got better today because a lot of these guys haven't played in a game like that, especially Yael and Will and, a couple of our other freshmen and sophomores. They haven't played in a game like that. But just the overall quality of play today I thought was really good. And I think there were two really good Division II basketball teams going at it, and neither team wanted to lose, and I think the fans got their money's worth tonight. I think it was a really good college basketball game.
Talk about the decisions down the stretch, but you're a young team. I mean,
yeah.
you said it. This is the first time for them to kind of grind through that and find a way. That's got to be big.
It's a sign of a good team. It's a sign of a good team. It's a sign of a maturing team. Again, I'm sure Yael is beating himself up over the turnovers he had, but the ball was in his hands at the end of the game, and he was scoring for us. And I thought Eric was unbelievable tonight. And he had to play more minutes with Marlon obviously being out. That's probably the most minutes Eric's ever played in a basketball game. 48 minutes? Yeah, 48 minutes. That's a lot of minutes for a guy that's quote-unquote our five-man. So, again, I'm proud of these guys. We found a way to win, but we have to get better because this isn't going to be our last close game that we play in.
As good as Bodie was down the stretch, a big little play was that deflection by Dalton there at the end that made them they had to reset, and then you could deny him and not let him get back.
We actually double-teamed him, so we couldn't get the ball in his hands. But then they got it to Rogers, and I'll be honest with you, I thought the shot was in. I thought it was going to bounce around and roll in there, but
that reminds you of Rob Reed.
That's what I was just going to say. We owe him one. We owe him one. Rob Reed hit a bank shot 4 or 5 years ago, so I guess this was our time to get them in an overtime game.
Eric, how you feeling? You walked in here, you're still huffing and puffing.
Still recovering, but really proud of the guys, especially the younger guys. I was telling them, toughest team wins, in overtime, then double overtime, toughest team wins, and I thought that we fought that adversity and really pulled through there in the end.
Your thoughts on playing in your first, quote-unquote big-time college game and making some big shots and some big plays down the stretch?
It was exciting. I had fun out there. I had like a couple of turnovers, but I knew if we was going to win the game, I had to get over those turnovers and try to lock down the defense and try to play defense and come through for the team.
I thought Will was really big down the stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going up and getting some big boy rebounds.
Yes, and Will was phenomenal. I think Tyler Primer had a really good game for us, and he gave us great minutes tonight. 24 minutes for him. I thought he was phenomenal. 4 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3. That's big stuff. And like you said, Will goes in there. He's not the biggest of guys, but somehow he comes away with the basketball in crowd. So both those guys played really well. I think everyone that played in the game tonight helped us. From Evan to Brady to Tyler to Nate, everyone that stepped on the floor contributed in some way or another.
This is where it gets quote-unquote fun for you as a coach. Marlon goes down, and all of a sudden you've got to figure a way to kind of put the pieces back together now.
Yeah. Didn't platoon tonight. I felt, for us to beat Concord, I felt Eric had to be on the floor. And, I could have went 5 and 5, but I just felt like in order for us to win, in order for us to be our best tonight against Bolte and Concord, I felt Eric Meininger had to be in the game.
What did they do differently to get him some better looks? I mean, was it as simple as going isolation with him?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I would like to know how many dribbles he had each possession because he was pounding it. But that's what he does. He kind of lulls you to sleep, and then all of a sudden he's got that quick burst. He's hard to guard, and our guys were just walking up here. Yael said he's the best player he's played against all year, and I'll argue with anybody. I think he's the best player in the country. I mean, he legit he's averaged 30 a game last year. He's at 27 this year. How do you stop that kid? And he's 6'2", but he's
a
big and
strong.
thick, and
Yeah.
there's nothing he really can't do in a basketball game. So I'm lucky. I'm very lucky, and I'm satisfied that we don't have to play him many more times. I'm ready for him to graduate and get out of there.
You talked about his layup at the end of the regulation. Is part of that a young team
Yeah.
being afraid
Yeah.
to commit a foul in that
Yeah.
position?
And that's something we'll work on. We work on end-of-game situations all the time in practice, and that's just something we got to get better. I don't know if Yale's ever been in that position before. So you can't get mad at a kid, when he's trying, he just doesn't know what to do. You can't get mad. You can explain as much as you want to him in a huddle, but it's easier said than done when you're out there playing with everyone watching you and the game's on the line.
We're getting to the point where you have to you start looking at big wins as far as building your resume. This is going to be a big one for you because they're going to go on and they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, it's funny. Todd and I actually went out recruiting yesterday together. We were in Ohio somewhere recruiting, and we just talked basketball for 4 hours. And I think this year the Mountain East might get 3 teams in the regional tournament. And who it's going to be, I don't know, but it's going to be an absolute war, come the rest of the season. We've faced everybody so far but Wheeling, and we got them coming up. So there's no easy games. I don't care if we're playing here, on the road, or wherever. There's no easy games, and it's going to be an all-out war.
You almost have to feel, I know you don't feel bad for getting a win, but you almost have to feel bad for Todd. There's a team that is out there searching for that signature win. They played IUP tough. They took Fairmont to overtime. They take you guys to double overtime. They're right there.
Right there. And they're going to win some games. They're going to beat, an upper half team in our league here pretty soon. And don't be surprised if they make a late run at this Mountain East regular season championship. I think they're that good. And I've been around for the past 13 years. This is one of the better Concord teams I've seen. And they're not very deep. They're not as deep as they usually are. But those top 7 guys, they're pretty good.
It ends up 109, 108, but Don was talking, it's really weird that, in your guys' season series, it tends to be a defensive struggle up here, and then it's gunslinger mentality when you guys go down there.
Fun, isn't it? A lot of fun. It's nerve-wracking, but again, that's why guys play college basketball. Like, I couldn't imagine these guys having more fun somewhere else than playing in that basketball game. And, I know the weather's bad, but the fans have to think, man, what a great basketball game. This is awesome. And, all the low scores in college basketball now, 109 to 108, that's fun to watch. It's exciting.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.